Shalom, shalom, all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Double honor to the apostle Nels is a great millstone. And shalom out there to the brothers that are preaching in the truth and with sincerity out there feeding the sheep and the possible elect. Today's topic will be concerning the Lord's beautiful creation of all. The Lord creates all things. I don't know what topic I'm going to use, but today I just wanted to glorify Yahweh Hashem Yahushua creation in all, because I was trying to find a good topic to talk about, and I was just watching the brothers preach. And the amazing thing about whenever you're preaching or whenever you're using a speech language that a lot of people can't understand is that the only ones that would truly understand it is the ears that can hear, which will be us, the Israelites from the 12 tribes. And I just think that it is just such a beautiful thing that the Lord created, because when you watch the brothers out there preach on the street corners, you see they're preaching and then everything else is continuing to move in the background. What did I mean by that? Meaning that this truth is literally not for everyone. It's like being in tunnel vision, and then you have background and other distractions that are moving, around. If you get what I'm saying, it's like on some Matrix stuff. Like, you're in control of preaching this truth and knowledge, which is a high frequency, a very high powerful speech, a high powerful speech. And then you see others out there that are literally just walking around. It's like the brothers are preaching, and then everybody, if you just look at everybody in slow motion, they're just gone with the world. And literally, that's why the Lord said that if ye didn't love the world, the world hated me. The world hated me. Let me see if I can find that scripture real quick. And this is John 15:18. If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. So meaning that, this truth is legit not for everyone. And it's not meant for people to understand. And another beautiful thing is the creation of just having a truth of understanding about us being the chosen. And it's not just about skin color either. It's more so of the spirit. You may have some people that are way brighter than us, and you have some people that are darker than us that are not even part of the 12 tribes, and you have some people that are lighter than us that literally are descended from, whether it's from their grandfather, their father, they're part of the 12 tribes, but they look like Edomites. This is an inspiration Bible verse. This is Isaiah, the 45th chapter. This is the 5th verse. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God besides me. I girded thee, though hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. This is the 7th verse. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all things. Skim on down. This is verse 12. I have made the earth and created man upon it. My hands have stretched out the heavens, and all their hosts have I commanded. I have raised him up in righteousness, and I will direct all his ways. He shall build my city, and he shall let go my captives, not for price nor reward, saith the Lord of hosts. And who he's saying let go captive? That will be us. The captivity, we're just in captivity with a lot of things. We're in captivity with this flesh. We're in captivity with Esau's system. We're in captivity with, the things that a regular human has to go through with flesh, problems, The longest war in history, as from a brother that said from his classes, the war between flesh and the spirit. because you know you have to feed this body. You have to make sure that you're putting right things into this body in order to prolong your life here. And you know you have to abide by Esau's system to even survive here, you know. And it's tough. It is very tough working every day from a 9 to 5, 12-hour shifts, 5 days a week. That is not meant for a regular human being to do, you know. And if you live in a place like, you know, South Carolina, that where the cost of living is low, you're really not going to get paid anything for working a very hard labor job compared to living in California or something. You know, the pay rate is not going to be the same because the cost of living is different. So it's even rough on, you know, especially young guys like me mentally, because I go through that every day. I genuinely do not like working. I hate working. And it's not the fact that I'm not a hard worker, because I really am. It's just the fact that, you know, if you really don't have no career or plan, which I do have, if you're not working towards it, you know, you're basically in a rat race. You're in a hamster circle. But anyway, to continue on, you know, this is Jude, the 1st chapter, verse 5. And this is basically just explaining, just because you're in a trip, that doesn't mean you're exempt from judgment. Meaning that just because you know you're a Hebrew Israelite, you can have all the knowledge in the world. That doesn't mean that you still have the opportunity to go off, you know, because the Lord can literally put a spirit on you to do something stupid, and then you obviously will fall out of the truth. And it's like the temptation that the Lord can put on you is very real. Like, and I would say, like, you gotta honestly get your mind ready for Jacob's trouble, because it's going to be worse, you know. But this is the 5th verse, Jude 1 and 5. Though you have already known all this, I want to remind you that the Lord at one time delivered his people out of Egypt, but later destroyed those who did not believe, and the angels who did not keep their positions or of authority, but abandoned their proper dwelling, these he has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment on the great day. In a similar way, Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding towns gave themselves up to sexual immorality and perversion. They serve as an example of those who suffer the punishment of eternal fire, you know. And a lot of people will look at chains, and that is all the symbolism of having just basically being judged and having a captive mind of not actually, you know, not even trying to understand what you're doing wrong. You know, you just continuing to go off Hebrews, I believe, verse 10 and 26. Have we sinned, believe that after we have received the knowledge of the Lord, therefore we shall be judged. And there is also no empathy for, you know, whenever somebody gets judged, because the Lord knows all things before we were born in the womb. That's Jeremiah 1 and 5, which I'm about to read right now. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. So, you know, that is just a symbolization of reincarnation, you know. We're just born here again, you know. And right now we're just living out a life that we could possibly have some similarities from the past. Some could be worse, and then some could be good. You have some people that come in this world that, you know, maybe some, you know, bad things are happening. Bad things are happening until now because it's just of the Lord. You know, he chooses your life, and therefore you can't ask questions. Honestly, it speaks about it in Romans 9-13, where Jacob had love for Esau have I hated. Is God unjust? No, he's not. Ecclesiastes 1 and 27, for the fear of the Lord is wisdom and instruction, and faith and meekness are his delight. And speaking of that, third and fourth generation, Slovakia. And this is Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 9, and this speaks of, you know, this generation that we are currently in now, the 3rd and 4th generation. Those shall not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I the Lord thy God am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children until the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me. You know, these, you know, kids in general don't fear God at all. You got 15-year-olds that are sticking up grown men with pistols, the modern day Esau sword. They're taking cars, they're crashing them into, gas stations and stuff. They're literally killing people with no remorse. And it's getting scary because it's the younger generation now. At once you had to worry about, the middle age, 25, 20, 30. Now you literally have kids that are like 13, 14 shooting and killing, their mothers. It's just no pettiness, and it's just a hellhole, Kind of reminds me of a situation with Lot when the angels came and visited him, and the people were so astounded. They had demons on them to the point where they wanted to have sex with the demons. Like, that's how it is now. It's just everything is just so out there, in a blend, like out everywhere. Like, they have no respect for even just trying to hide it. This is Ecclesiastes 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. I dealt with that this whole week. Literally, I had dealt with emotional temptation, fleshly temptation. When you're put in a certain position, especially when you're dealing with, any type of, how can I say, up and coming foundation, it can be a lot of situations to where the Lord can put you in an emotional states to where you're not right in your head. And, depending on what you do in them situations, that really can determine your faith with believing in the Lord. And, I just want to thank all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua for just keeping me, always in my right saying and right mind. And just, whenever I'm literally at my low mental state point, I'm just blessed with this energy of just relief, like that's what literally happened yesterday. Like, just through talking and getting the final foundation understanding of what is the problem, I instantly felt a relief. So a lot of people think that these people that are what is it excuse me, there's people that suffer from schizophrenia and stuff, like those are real demons. Just like for example, when the Lord said, how about Yahushua said, and this is Mark 9:25, when Yahushua saw the people come running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto them, thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee to come out of him and enter here no more. I'll get the full chapter. And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe. Help thou mine unbelief. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, this is 24. We're going to start over. And when Yahushua saw the people come running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him and enter no more into him. And the spirit cried and rent the boy sorely and came out of him. And he was as one dead, insomuch that many said, he is dead. This is verse 27. But Yahushua took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he rose. And when he had come into the house, the disciples asked him privately, why could not we cast him out? The 29th verse, and he said unto him, this kind can come forth by nothing but prayer and fasting. And the 30th verse, and they departed thence and passed through Galilee, and he would not that any man should know it. And that's the key point of fasting too. Prayer and fasting is so much important whenever you're dealing with sickness and health. Like, even for your loved ones, you could pray and fast, because believe it or not, whenever you come into this truth, you're representing a generation. You're part of a once in a lifetime generational truth that potentially can alter your mark of history, just like how each of these disciples in here have, and honestly, it's going to get to a point where I need to go out on the highways and byways and preach, with other brothers from GMS. I have to get in contact with brothers and, get as much wisdom and knowledge as I can before Yahweh come back, because, being with the correct group and the correct doctrine is very important, because believe it or not, whenever Jacob's trouble have, you're going to be having so many people saying Jesus, Yahweh, Yahuwah. It only comes down to the right name. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's who he's going to come unto. And even, wicked people in this world know his name too, but which we will be judged first when it's all said and done. This is more inspiration on the creation of the world. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1st chapter 26 and 27. Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. So God created man in his own image. And he said, if you can see, he said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Who was us and our? Yahweh Shah and the angels. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. Psalms 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. And if honestly, if you was to look at the world, it's like everything has its own different personality. You have rocks, you have clouds, you have colors, different colors, like. And if you think about us when it comes to creativity and creating something that includes art, we do it the same way as a person would, right? So there has to be some type of entity that, many people would not try to believe in, but some entity created this earth with a personality, a mindset, a emotional state as well. Emotion is one of the most underrated things that brothers in the truth really don't talk about. Emotion is really a lot in this truth as well. There's a lot of emotion in the truth, and if you look at the creation of the world and the truth in general, the whole biblical aspect, it involves emotion. But it also involves discipline as well. Psalms 19:1, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky proclaim. I already read that. Psalms 33:6, by the word of the Lord, the heavens were made, and by the breath of his mouth are their hosts. Psalms 104:24, O Lord, how manifold are your works, and wisdom have you made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. And this is Revelation, the 21st chapter, verse 21. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, each of the gates made of a single pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold like transparent glass. Amazing, beautiful. I asked Chat GTP the similarity between both humans and earth, which we do. The creation, the Yahweh Shema Shah creation is so beautiful that he also created earth with similarities with us as well, and himself too. And one of the answers was the evolution over time. Earth took billions of years to develop from a molten state into a planet capable of supporting life. Humans evolved over millions of years ago from primitive life forms through natural selections and adaptation. Both went through long, gradual processes to reach their current form, which is true. Humans went through an evolution just like Earth did. Independence and systems. Earth has complex systems, geological, atmospheric, ecological, that interact and sustain life. Humans also consist of interconnection systems, nervous systems, circulatory systems, digestions that work together to sustain the body. Both are complex systems with independent parts. And here is the energy use and regulations. Earth balances energy through processes like photosynthesis, radiation, and the weather cycles. And humans maintain internal energy and balance through metabolism, homeostasis, and movement. The capability for change. Earth changes through natural processes, tectonic shifts, erosion, climate shifts. Humans change physically, mentally, and culturally through growth, learning, and adaptations. Both are dynamic, not static. They evolve and adapt. Beautiful. It's beautiful. And particularly find this. It's like, yeah, I'll show a scripture on there, but a scripture was basically explaining how, the Israelites asked ChatGPT, was the Israelite different from other nations? And it briefly explains yes. And I'll put it up there. Me specifically, I would add it on there, but then that would mess up the video. But I would literally put it up there. You know, just showing that the creation of, you know, the Lord's connection with the Hebrew Israelites is amazing as well. That is a beautiful artwork as well. And, you know, when it's all said and done, you know, people are going to genuinely see that the Lord does not play. You know, and I just pray to Yahweh Shema Shah and other brothers as well that are watching this video and that are in this truth, is that we could just stay sane whenever Jacob's trouble happen, you know. With me, myself, I know it's, how can you prepare for something that you never been through? You know, so you just gotta pray that Yahweh Shema Shah stay on your side and that the angels will protect you. Because that's all, that's the only person that can protect you. So all praise to Yahweh Shema Shah, double honor to the apostles and others, a great millstone. Shalom out there to the brothers that may be tuned in. All praises to Yahweh Shema Shah for giving me the spirit, and shalom.